Good morning, chaps. Today I'm going to be telling you about the importance of the one and only God's creation, which is known as the sun. Now, in this day and age, under the attacks of corporate companies like Starbucks, McDonald's, Burger King, they've taken normal food, which was supposed to fill up our tummies, make us stronger, and allow us to fight and hunt and do all those wonderful things we were supposed to do. Now, what happens is that people are eating unhealthy food and they feel amazing from it, which is just terrible, which degrades their health and puts excess fat on their bellies. But beyond that, there's a way bigger issue that I've started to notice, not just with others, but within myself firstly, because I've noticed that I've been spending more time on my phone and doing all these antisocial things. And not only is that degrading my life and my social standing, but it's also distancing me with my old best friend and with God's very creation, which is known as the sun. Now, I need you guys to focus here. I need you to understand that the sun is what's going to power you up. As I've heard before, humans are solar powered. See the skin over here? This is the most advanced solar panel ever created within the history of time and within the history of the world. It's the sun that powers us. And what happens is with the sun you get vitamin D. Now I've noticed that I've started to get this small abrasion on my finger. Do you think that that's because I'm not getting enough sun? It's possible, because now I've checked out my diet. I make sure I eat almonds, I make sure I eat well, I make sure I feel full with healthy food, which I would highly recommend that you guys do. And you know what? I think that the sun is a natural disinfectant because of its ultraviolet rays. So if I spend more time in the sun, this little abrasion on my finger should be finished. And sun is absolutely crucial, not just to your own development, but to your own body growth. If you're someone who's interested in gym and testosterone production, or testosterone secretion, then I think that you should also focus on the sun. There's a book written by James Clear called Atomic Habits, and he talks about how there was a cycling team that were failing. I believe it could have been the French cycling team, but I doubt it. And they were losing every single competition, and this team weren't performing. But what the coach decided to do was look for 1% improvements. 1% little ways to look for an improvement in the diets, making sure the bikes were white so they could see the tiny specks of dust, making sure that the vans were clean, making sure they had good uniforms, that their legs were shaven, and making sure that they got enough sun every day. And all these 1% improvements compounded, and you wouldn't believe what happened. That failing cycling team actually started to win their races. That is unbelievable. So if you're thinking of sun, this is one of the easiest little 1% differences that is going to improve your mood, improve your testosterone secretion if you're a man, make you healthier, make you fitter, and if you're a woman, give you that beautiful tan, so that you can go from looking like one of those McDonald's ladies, sorry, looking like one of those Moldovan Italian models. And that's something that I think, if you're a woman or you're a man, I think that having that tan skin is something that is beautiful to strive for. Now, I hope I don't look too skinny, because I've been training every single day, and getting sun has been a new little evolution in my little plan. So if you can look down here, see these beautiful, massive, beautiful palm trees. Makes you think that we're in a beach venue in LA, or that we're on the beach somewhere in Mauritius. Really, we're not. But the point is that when it comes to, now, let's forget about us, you and me, and let's forget about humans for a second. Let's go look at plants and agriculture. Think of the food that you ate this morning, if you've eaten something. Maybe you had a bit of lettuce, maybe you had a bit of cereal. That grain was in a field, and the only way that grain was ever grown and cultivated was because of sun, was because of the process of photosynthesis, watering, sucking nutrients from the water, and getting the ultraviolet rays from the sun. The only reason you have anything to eat is because of the sun. The only reason that anything lives is because of the sun. Now, if you get warm-blooded or hot-blooded animals, cold-blooded and warm-blooded insects. So, for example, let's say we look at one of these creepy crawlies. What happens is that even though they're cold-blooded, or because they're cold-blooded, they have to come into the sun. The issue with us is we're privileged to be warm-blooded animals, as they call us, which means that we don't really need to spend time in the sun, although we need a certain amount of vitamin D. If we don't get it for a while, it won't be a problem. And that's actually the downfall of man. Because if you pair that, the fact that we're warm-blooded, with the fact that we now have cell phones and technology which gives us massive amounts of dopamine release, then it means that we are going to, as I said way before, distance ourselves from the sun. And this is why we need sun. If you don't have sun, you will die. Because, for example, let's say I had this abrasion and I kept on spending time indoors. This abrasion would take over my life But because I'm out in the sun, the ultraviolet rays right now sticking my finger to the sun. Do this every day. It kills all the natural bacteria. If you're worried about body odor and all that kind of stuff, I don't know if this is actually going to work. It might not. But my theory is that because the ultraviolet rays are a natural disinfectant and a natural killer of all insects and all bacteria, what if you put your arm up to the sun? Would that not remove that body odor? Something interesting to think about. So right now we're approaching 5 minutes 23, and I want to tell you some more things about the sun. There used to be a song that we would sing in nursery school called Sun, Sun, Mr. Golden Sun, you shine down on me. And I want to think about that. Let's dissect that. Sun, Sun, Mr. Golden Sun. Now, the sun is kind of like this orb, an all-powerful being, but it isn't a god. It's just something that provides so much energy. And when it comes, forget about that tune for a little second. Mr. Golden Sun. Why do we say Mr. Sun and not just Sun the planet or Sun the orb or whatever? Because we want to make it personal. If you consider someone your friend, are you not then more likely to come closer to him? Are you not then more likely to spend more time? And maybe that was a little ploy, a little trick that they tried to instill within us within that song, so that we would get enough sun, so that we would be healthy. If you tell the kids to sing a song about lamp, lamp, that's a funny lamp, something, well, that's Mr. Lamp, they're more likely to go and be fascinated by the lamp because they've sung about it, they've thought about it, they've laughed about it. So maybe that's a way to keep the kids healthy or out there playing in the sun. I don't know. But if we look at where Earth is in relation to the sun and all the other planets, Mars, Jupiter, Venus, Earth is positioned in the perfect distance away from the sun, which allows us to not only sustain life, but for life to thrive. And by life thriving, I mean us humans that walk the face of the planet. There are elephants, there are lions, there are zebras, there are all the animals, insects, bugs, trees that grow, plants, food that we can cultivate, grass. Sun is such an enabler. And so I think we can even turn this discussion into religion. Do you think that, although I don't believe that the sun is God, do you believe that if a God exists, that it manifests itself within the sun? And because that sun is all-powerful and all-knowing and not all-knowing, but all-powerful and supports life on earth, do you not think that it's at least fair to think of God as the sun? And I understand it. I believe, I could be wrong here, and I'm not a historian. I'm just going to say in ancient times there were people, cultures and cities that believed that the sun was God. And upon coming to this realization, I've understood it. Because think of it, the sun is what supports us, what gives us tan, what allows us to secrete testosterone, to get stronger, which is beautiful. And it's all logical if you look at how that beautiful palm tree, which I was talking about, is cultivated. The food you eat is cultivated. The grass, everything is grown and developed through that ultraviolet ray, which clears away bacteria and cultivates and fosters life on earth. The sun is one of the most beautiful things, and it's often overlooked. Bring it into your life.